What's up, fight fans? Greetings from the Wrestleverse. This is Tijon, and this is another rendition of In the Mix. Now it's time to take it to the ring. Man, what a fantastic pay-per-view to start the year off from the UFC. Like, they gave us another fantastic event, wowed us from the start to finish. I'm talking all the way from the prelims to the two main events that we had. Like, it was nonstop action. It was fantastic. We got to see a lot of new faces that the promotion picked up since last year. It was just great, man. I'm very happy with how the UFC is starting to shape up, and I'm glad to see a lot of new talent. So let's get right into it with the very first fight: Kay Hansen versus Jasmine Jasudavicius. Now, this fight was really, really good. This was Jasudavicius' first fight in the UFC, going against a really tough opponent in Hansen. But Jasmine was able to use her size and her strength to really establish really good control game early on in the fight, making it so that Hansen had to stand up. But Jasmine also has the advantage of reach, and her really like lanky size kept her out of the pocket, and she was just picking her off the entire fight. So it was a really decisive win for Jasmine Jasudavicius. We look forward to what she brings to the table in the next few matches, just because this was a really nice, really strong beginning to her UFC career. So definitely look out for her in the future. So next up, we had a really quick but very, very energetic fight in Vanessa Demopoulos versus Silvana Gomez Juarez. Now, these two did not come to play lightly. Like I said, it was a really quick match, but at the same time, you know how the UFC is. Just when a match is quick, that means it's probably one of the most entertaining fights because they did not waste any time. And that was the case here. Silvana actually knocked Vanessa down early with a mean hook. Like it was a brutal hook. And somehow Vanessa was able to regain her composure while getting ground and pound, like you see. Like she was Silvana wasn't letting the pressure go at all the entire time that she was on top, but Vanessa still was able to breathe, get herself back on track. And then when they stood back up, oh, I'm sorry, no. When she got Silvana off of her, got a little bit of space, she snuck in an arm bar, locked it in real good. Silvana had no choice but to tap. It was an amazing, amazing performance for Vanessa, who also had her very first start in the UFC. As you can see, she was really excited to meet Joe Rogan, but who wouldn't be after such a performance and hearing all the praises that Joe Rogan gave her? That was basically how we all felt. She was able to regain herself from what was sure to be a knockout blow and like keep her controller. Like that's what a real pro does, and she brought that kind of vibe to the fight, and I'm proud of what she really accomplished. It was really cool. So we also look forward to her. Next, we have Matt Feroza versus Genaro Valdez. Now, this fight, another quick one, but like I said before, a whole lot of electricity went into this fight as well. So Feroza kept an insane pace that ended the fight in the first round. He really pushed it. He smelled blood early in the round, and he knocked down Feroza a ridiculous 6 times before the ref finally stopped the match. It literally was one-sided from start to finish, but Valdez just refused to go down until the ref stopped it himself. But with that kind of performance, Feroza just put the lightweight division on notice. This isn't his first fight. He's been in for a while. And with this, now people are really going to have to start taking him seriously because he clearly has found some speed and some power in his game. And that killer instinct that he has, that was similar to like that Dustin Poirier kind of just like pushing and keep that pressure on. Like that's a scary trait to have. So lightweights better watch out and take that man seriously. Next, we had Tony Gravely versus Simon Oliveira. Now, Simon Oliveira, I'm super impressed at how many guillotines this man was able to lock in on Tony. It was ridiculous. Like we lost track of how many times he was able to like get a real lethal guillotine. Like, look at that. Nobody's supposed to get out of that. But kudos to Tony Gravely, man. Like, how did you continue to get out of those? There had to be at least like 20 of him just like the courage and like just the sheer cockiness that he had to not tap out. It just wore him out. Like, other than those guillotines, Tony just took control of the fight. He was dominant on the feet, dominant on the ground, really was just doing what he wanted, because all Simon wanted to do was end the fight with some submissions, and Tony just didn't care. He just would muscle right through it. Now, is that a really smart thing to do? Probably not. You know, he's probably gonna have to work on that in the gym, or somebody's really gonna humble him with like a real blood choke or something, because you're not gonna be successful in the UFC by just muscling out of like submissions like that. You get lucky, which he definitely did this time, but you know, his other techniques and especially his skills as a wrestler really showed. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he evolves past this match. Hopefully he takes some jiu-jitsu seriously after this one and doesn't just let this win go to his head too much, because you don't want that to happen after that kind of performance. But next we have Jack Della Maddalena versus Pete Rodriguez. Now, these are two new guys coming in. This was their very first fight together in the UFC, but they were both like really good strikers. That's what they're really known for, is their hands and how powerful they are. But Jack completely outclassed Pete with his striking and got the quick TKO on Pete Rodriguez. You can see it right there, like just unrelenting sniper-like punches. He didn't punch a lot, but every time he hit him, it was right on the button, like right here in the nose. There was nothing that Pete Rodriguez had as an answer for him. But it being Jack's very first fight, we can expect some big things with a performance like that. Like, on the feet, this man is dangerous, and you know, his size is a little what's the word I'm looking for? You know, it's misleading. You know, like, you wouldn't expect somebody with that kind of build to have as much power as he does, but he really took Pete Rodriguez to work, and you know, like, that's kudos in itself. So we welcome to the UFC, Jack. Like, you made me a believer. Let's see how far you can go as well. Next was Raoni Barcelos versus Victor Henry. Now, Raoni Barcelos, it has already notched like 3 fight of the nights in his last 3 fights alone. Like, he has proven himself already in the UFC, but there was also Victor Henry. Now, this was his very first fight, but Victor Henry has like 26, 27 fights already as a pro. This was just another stage to him, and you could see it. So in their match, like, it was a real big like striking display. That was the main thing that it was. It was a lot of stand up. Like, they took each other to class basically when it came to the striking. But after that first round, that first and second round, Victor Henry really started pulling away and just started outperforming him, just picking his punches right. Just like, the volume was better. Barcelos was really looking for a finisher, a lot of heavy punches, and you know, Victor Henry just kind of kept his cool and just kept picking him off, and like his face started getting bloodier and bloodier. It was just clear he started pulling away with that fight. Um, with that kind of performance too, of course, Victor Henry got the win. It was by decision. It went all the way. But with that kind of performance, he's on the fast track. We can see him being on the fast track to getting some bigger challenges early. He is a little older for a person that's just starting in the UFC, but with his immense experience already, we can see him already going far and fast, especially with that clock ticking for him. We're going to have to get the ball rolling to see what he can really do in the division. So look for some contender fights early for him. Next, we had Michael Morales versus Trevin Giles. Now, this was the start of the main card, and what a way to start. So Michael Morales is only 22 years old, as you can see, and is undefeated in his pro career. This was also his very first fight in the UFC. So Giles actually stunned Morales early with a powerful cross that left him kind of stunned. And he surprisingly, for whatever reason, kind of started bear hugging him on the fence, allowed Morales to gain his win back, he learned that that was a mistake because Morales just regained his composure and rocked him with his own set of like hooks and uppercuts, put him down, and then instead of giving him a break like Giles did, he just jumped right on top of him with some ground and pound. Boom, end of the fight. Nothing that Giles even could do. So Morales walked out with a TKO, his very first win in the UFC. But this is a very, very bright future for this young man. Like I said, he's only 22. So this is fantastic. This is a new talent. I'm gonna put him in the same prospect as possibly being like the next John Jones if he can keep up that kind of tenacity and keep up that kind of wow factor that he just put on. Like he's a dog, man. We got to take him serious, even though his age may be kind of like okay, but it doesn't matter if you can perform like that against some pros who've been in for a while. Then you're just as valid as anybody else. So I'm watching you closely, Michael Morales. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan. Next, we had Cody Stamann versus Saeed Nurmagomedov. Now, Saeed made very, very quick work out of Cody Stamann. So Stamann is a wrestler, but we know that basically everybody coming out of Dagestan has some kind of superpower when it comes to wrestling and cardio. And that was on full display here. I mean, Saeed outclassed him on the feet and then immediately locked in a guillotine as soon as Cody tried to take it to the ground. Easy, like it was only like a minute long, and Saeed just made it look like it was nothing. Like he just looked like this was a sparring match to him. Left Cody like super red from the blood choke, but also a little cut up just off of a few punches. Saeed actually hasn't fought in over a year because of COVID protocols and all of that stuff. So he's already lost a year in his career. So with a fight like this and a win as dominant as that already, he seems to be right back into that contention that he was already in before he was out for that year. So we look forward to him keeping that same momentum up. Let's see what he can bring to the table. I'm all for seeing him get some more matches in because like everybody else, time is valuable for everybody in the UFC. You gotta make what you do work, and you gotta make it quick because time waits for nobody. So Saeed, let's see what you can do. Next, we had Michael Pereira versus Andre Fialho. Now, this was another great stand-up fight. Andre Fialho is known as a boxing prodigy. Fight like just his stand-up has been incredible, and this was his first fight in the UFC. So in the first round, he had stunned Pereira with his stand-up ability. I mean, was tagging him at will. It looked like Pereira was going to have a very short night, but we all know how Michel Pereira is, and he was able to bounce back, get his composure, and go right back to those high flying antics, that real entertaining fighting style that we've seen, and was really able to kind of outlast and gas Andre Fialho on the feet. This fight was, it was super entertaining. They even embraced each other before and after the third round. I mean, this was in my opinion, this might have been the fight of the night. It was impressive to see these guys go at it the way that they did. Endless striking. They fought from the beginning of the bell to the end in all three rounds. Very nice class act between the two. And of course, we saw Pereira come out with the victory by decision. Continuing his win streak, and we see him mature more and more as he like gains more and more experience in the UFC. So he's on a really good track right now, and we're gonna just see him continue to improve until he gets that call for a title shot, maybe this year. We'll see. Next up was the first big main event, the trilogy fight, Brandon Moreno versus Deveison Figueiredo. Man, this was a legendary performance between the two, who were once again pretty evenly matched, just like we've seen in the last few fights. This one actually went the distance again. Um, but man, it was real back and forth between the two. But Deveison Figueiredo started really picking him off and seemed like a little more technical than Brandon Moreno, a little more prepared. Was kicking that front leg, really chopped that pretty good, had him hurting for most of the fight after that, and then went to work on the stand-up and just was really patient. We saw for the first time a patient Deveison Figueiredo. Like, I've never seen him not go for the kill, but with his new training, he really outscored him and shocked the entire arena by getting the victory over Brandon Moreno. Brandon Moreno was the favorite. I mean, the stadium went ballistic every time Brandon Moreno did anything. I mean, he was the clear favorite to win. And honestly, I wasn't sold that Deveison won that fight. Not in the sense of he didn't do good, but man, if you're gonna take out the champ, you have to really take out the champ. And that's how I feel about it. Like, winning by decision, it takes a lot more, in my opinion, to win by decision from going against the champion. It's gotta really be in your favor. And I believe it was too close. They probably should have gave it to Brandon. But we're gonna look for another fight between them. More than likely, they're gonna run it back because this was, of course, another controversial call to the fight in their series. So we're more than likely looking at an unheard of fourth fight between two guys who are clearly giving it their all and looking to put each other out of the conversation, because these two are just at the top of their game and we just want to see them fight. They have to finish this once and for all. Lastly, the hype train finally came to its stop with Francis Ngannou versus Cyril Gane. Now, these two were training partners, as we all know, and they were both like on these crazy streaks right now. Cyril has never lost, and I mean, we all see how technical he's been. We've never seen somebody like him, but we also had never seen anybody like Francis Ngannou. So this was really like probably the most hyped fight we've ever seen in the heavyweight division. Now, Cyril was, like I said, very well rounded and definitely gave Ngannou his biggest challenge that we've ever seen. He wasn't afraid to go toe to toe with Ngannou, made him miss, didn't take a lot of strikes. Like, he just brought a different side of Ngannou out, and we got to see for the very first time Ngannou showed some incredible judo and some jujitsu, even keeping Cyril Gane for the very first time in his career on the ground. Cyril Gane has never been taken down, and Francis Ngannou was doing it at will. Like, it was crazy. So yeah, what we're used to seeing from Francis may have always been striking. We were expecting a knockout in some fashion, but instead we just got a dominant performance on the ground. And before, like, that was unheard of for Ngannou. So that just shows how he's evolved his game as a champion in mixed martial arts. He really, like, stepped his game up and became a true mixed martial artist. And that is super commendable. That's what a champ does. That's how you keep your belt. But of course, like we were getting to, Ngannou won by decision. The very first time in the UFC that Ngannou hasn't finished his opponent. So we got to celebrate Cyril Gane for that. Like, he did the impossible and didn't get knocked out at all in the entire fight. He only got a few lumps, didn't even get a scratch. Like, he really went toe to toe with the greatest heavyweight we've ever seen. So, props to Cyril Gane, but hats off to Francis Ngannou, capping off an incredible career with the UFC. And I really, really hope that Ngannou comes back, and they get these contract disputes fixed, because I would love to see a rematch between him and Gane, but I know he has much more in the tank. Of course, we want to see him box Tyson Fury. Come get that work. I would love to see that happen, but come back to the UFC, Francis. We need you. We need that entertainment. We just, you can't leave us like that. Not on a performance like that. We need more. We need more. We haven't gotten enough. But so here on Take It to the Ring, we like to rate our events that we do on a scale of 1 to 5. So 5 stars being fight forever, 4 stars, this is awesome, 3 stars, you still got it, 2 stars, what? And 1 star, boring. Like, you might as well watch us, because we're gonna, make it way more entertaining than they did. After this fight, like this whole event, I mean, I feel comfortable giving this event a solid 4-star rating. All the fights were very, very entertaining to watch. I mean, it was incredible. I loved every minute of all the fights. But I'm not gonna lie, the main event was a little underwhelming. You know, not coming from a technical standpoint, but just coming as a fight fan. You know, from a technical standpoint, I mean, I'm wowed at the fact that Francis Ngannou was able to pull off that win in the way that he did it. But I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it was a boring fight. You know, we didn't see as many like powerful punches. We didn't see anything that we've grown to expect from Ngannou. And with such the hype that was around this fight, it was impossible that they were going to hit that with the fight that they fought. You know, it was more like Cyril's style. You know what I mean? It was Cyril's style of fight where it's just, you know, technical. I'm just gonna tag you. We're gonna win by points. And that's the fight that they chose to fight. And it just, you know, it wasn't as spectacular or as gritty as any of us wanted. So I gotta be honest and take a star for that. But every other fight, man, was beautiful, and it was everything that we expected it to be. Like I said, I'm super excited for the new talent that the UFC's brought in. All these guys look promising, even the people that lost. So, you know, let's give a hand to these guys, and like, you know, there's a new generation coming. So be ready and welcome these new faces, guys, because they're going to be the ones that keep this train going and keep the UFC as like the top promotion in the MMA world that it is. But you know, if you like this, which I'm sure you did, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow. Take it to the ring, and you know, just for more content, because we'll be doing this all day, every day. Leave a comment too under this episode and let me know what you guys thought about the event, what you guys are looking forward to seeing. You know, Israel Adesanya and Whitaker are having their rematch soon. You know, we can't wait for that. Let me know what you guys think. What's your predictions? But until next time, this is all I got, man. Thanks for joining me for another episode of In the Mix. This is your host, T. John, signing off.